Hey everybody, welcome to this month's How's the Market. These are always my favorite ones to do because this is for January, and the good thing about it is now we can compare all of last year. We'll compare 2020 to 2021. Instead of comparing it just to this month, I like doing the whole month and kind of jamming it all together. So I'm going to throw a lot of stats out today. I'll kind of walk you through it, kind of give you my opinion on everything. But the big ones as of right now, new listings. Again, this was 2020 to 2021. New listings were down 4%. The days on market, so the amount of time it took to sell a property, was down 13%. The amount of pendings were about even, so there was a difference of one, but not much, not enough to really dive into that. The amount of sold homes went up 4%. And the median sold price went up 15%, and the average sold price went up 9%. So really right now we're averaging $216,000 per home, and if you go by the median price, which typically is lower, is $187,500. So and that's a big jump up from last year. We were looking at about $30,000 on the median price, and again, that's 1 year. And then for the average price, you're looking at almost $40,000, and again, in 1 year. So that's a lot of change. So that being one of them. Now, if we keep diving into, and again, I've said this before, and those trends aren't anything new. We've been seeing those. There's not a lot of homes on the market. The amount of listings are down. Because the amount of listings are down, and because the amount of sales are up, so obviously listings down, sales up, we start to get more of a gap here. What we're starting to see is those days on the market go down, which is natural. Homes are selling quicker. There's more demand for the homes that are available. And we're also seeing multiple offers. So what happens, multiple offers drive the sale price up. So that's why you're seeing the price, the median, the average price start to go up again. Very basic real estate economics 101. So they kind of keep that very simple. As we dive into it, so one of the cool things I looked at, and I was doing a year-over-year comparison. I was able to go all the way back to 2013. So 13, 14, all the way up to 2021. What we saw was back in 2013, 2014, the amount of new listings was 460 and 500. And now we're seeing last year was 695 with the peak in that time frame at 827. So over that amount of years. But what we're really seeing, if you go back from 2013 to now, yes, the new listings are up. We definitely see that. But the amount of sold homes is up about the same amount. And again, we're starting to see a big dip on that because we went from, again, kind of like this to well, I guess, I don't know how we're looking at this, but they ended up kind of passing, and now they're the opposite, or however that graph would look. Again, sorry for my bad charades. But so really what you're seeing, the amount of new listings going up, the amount of sales going up, they're kind of balancing each other out, and actually the amount of sales is increasing versus the amount of new listings. Days on the market back then was 193 days, and we're down to 129 days. That's a pretty big drop for days on market. Considering about 60 of those days are going to be eaten up no matter what, because average, even if you go into contract day one, you're probably averaging 60 total days on the market because of the closing process. Now, this is where the big one jumps out. So this is kind of the most eye-opening thing. So from 2013 to 2021, so about it's 9 total years. The median price went from $129,900 to $187,000, and the average price point was up $80,000. So about $837 up to $216,000. I remember selling real estate back then, and it's just crazy to see what the prices are now. We're just so used to that, and you've been seeing it creep up. But yeah, that's a big jump up. So if somebody bought their home back then, they're obviously very happy right now. The other numbers I want to look at, without diving too much into, obviously our major listings, kind of our next thing was price point by listings. Most of them are under that $300,000 mark. So anywhere from 200 to 300,000 is really where the majority of our listings are. But when we go down by new listings last year, in kind of the days on the market, I started breaking it down by school district, and realistically the amount of new listings in 2021, the least amount was Shazy, the district. There was 38 new listings all of last year. On the high end was Peru at 136. And really kind of diving into some of those, we see 130 in Sable Valley and Beekmantown, and then on the lower end you see NAC, NCCS are down around that 70 mark. PHS, so the city of Plattsburgh, was 127 listings last year, and Saranac was 83 listings. So you can kind of see how that's broken down. And again, when you go on days on the market, homes were selling the quickest in Beekmantown, in Peru. Those were the fastest ones. And then Beyond that, I mean, looking at average sold and median sold price, the lowest was NAC, which we typically see that. And the highest actually was in Peru, when it actually dollar per mile, and they were averaging $279,000 last year, which again, very high. So when we keep going through active listings, so at the time of this rating, there's 99 homes on the market actively in all of Clinton County, and that's everything. So that's every price point, every days on the market, all the good, bad, and ugly. That's not a lot of homes, and what I mean by that, when we actually dive into kind of what we call the absorption rate, or how quickly homes are selling versus the amount of homes we have available in supply. Right now, overall in the county, we have 1.8 months of inventory. Okay, so 1.8 months, that's not a lot. We're talking like maybe 7 weeks. And that's for everything we have listed to sell. Now, granted, some of those homes, are they all gonna sell? Absolutely not. Some of these homes are overpriced. Some of these homes have been sitting around for months and months or years. But what you're seeing is everything based on what actually is selling per average each month, which is like 50 something homes. We should be seeing that all be up in about 7 weeks. Realistically, the good homes, so the homes that are most likely going to sell that 99, are going to sell much quicker than that. So we don't have a lot of inventory or a lot of weeks, not much weeks, which is crazy because historically we've had years of inventory. Now we're down to 1.8 months. And again, when we deep dive, the lowest amount of inventory we have right now is under 100,000. We have 0.7. We have basically 3 weeks of inventory in that bracket. Now from 100 to 200,000 and 200,000 to 300,000, we have 2 months and 1.9 months respectively. So naturally, that's where the average price point is. So these homes are going to go quick. And we need listings. And then we go down by school district. Beekmantown right now, which is crazy. Beekmantown, one of the largest districts that we have, has 7 active homes on the market. Their month supply is 0.6 months. Okay, so that's like 2.5 weeks, maybe. Okay, so 2.5 weeks of inventory. All of Beekmantown, from 0 to infinity in price point, you have basically 2.5 weeks of inventory. Beekmantown is one of our most competitive markets right now, at least from a school district perspective. And realistically, if you go through all the districts, the longest amount of inventory, or the most amount of inventory we have, is NAC at 3.4 months. Everything else is between 0.6 and 3.4. A lot of 1s, a lot of 2s. So realistically, these homes are going to probably be bought in very quickly. Again, very deep dive on that. I think, kind of been nerd out on that. I've put you guys to sleep. I apologize, but I think that, numbers, again, we've heard the adage, numbers don't lie, or the cliche. They really don't. And we can kind of really dive into here and kind of see the trends that were happening. So, and I think this gives a good perspective, especially the absorption rate. At 1.8 months total, I think that's kind of eye-opening for some people when I say there's not a lot of inventory on the market. And again, historically, that months has been years, and that number's been higher than 1.8. It could be 2 years of inventory on the market, or 1.5 years of inventory on the market. Now we're down less than 2 months, which is crazy. We're basically talking weeks right now. So if anybody has any questions, let me know. 2 things, again, to kind of wrap us all up. How do we go from, we're in a seller's market, so we have a lot of people that want to buy homes, we have a little amount of inventory. How does this flip-flop? Basically 2 things. We somehow increase the amount of homes, whether people decide to start listing their property, or we have new homes being built for purchase, not a person building a home for themselves, but homes actually built to sell. That's going to start increasing the inventory. What is going to possibly decrease the buyer demand? Well, really, the only thing I can look at is some type of government manipulation of interest rates, or something where it affects the ability of people to act, or the consumer to actually purchase a home. So interest rates makes it harder to get money. They don't want to pay the interest on those loans. Or number 2, something happens to the economy where people do not have as much disposable income, or the cost of living or inflation or everything goes up, cost of goods go up, and now people cannot buy a home because now their grocery bill or their kids' daycare or whatever started eating into that budget. So those are really the 2 things that we're going to see that might manipulate the market. Will it happen? Eventually. I mean, it ebbs and flows. But right now we're starting to see where that market, like, again, from the price point and everything else, is going up like this because there is a very high demand for homes. So if anybody has any questions, let me know. Again, I apologize for all the numbers and talking very, very quickly through this, but hopefully kept this under maybe 10 or 12 minutes for you guys. But again, Gaelan Trombley, Kavanaugh Realty. You can find me at Gaelan Trombley on pretty much every social platform there is. If you have questions or if you want a little bit more of a deep dive, again, I had some numbers I didn't say, surprisingly, but there is more numbers I can go over. Just reach out to me. Again, at Gaelan Trombley, pretty much anywhere on social. All right, thanks.